Hi everyone, welcome back to RTS and welcome back to our monthly celebrations YouTube hop, in which a group of gals and I get together every 15th of the month and we scrapbook a layout or a card or a project and simply just celebrate the month we're in. And of course this is the month of March, and what I'm going to be using today is playing with my kit that I created last week in my Kit Crunch video, and it was all about celebrating you, meaning that you take your favorite patterns and your colors and your whatever you like to play with, whether it's washi or pattern papers or braids or punches or dies, and just celebrating what you like. And so of course the reason I did that because in the month of March is my birthday month, and so it's just about celebrating me and not necessarily meaning that I will scrapbook layouts about myself, because you know, as women, what do? We put ourselves last on the list, and that is in the same manner of scrapbooking. Pages about ourselves, we put last on the list, let's just be honest. But I absolutely am going to do a layout today, and there's my mug with my little one. Yes, I'm going to absolutely land on this layout, so that's fun. I'm going to use a load prompt, so I'll talk about that in just a minute. But the first thing I want to talk about is I'm going to play with my Kit Crunch, and again, that video will be linked below. And I'm going to play with the supplies that I get to play with, which means some of these beautiful papers and how I'm going to handle this beautiful paper. And also too, I have some of these alphas and word stickers from the My Mind's Eye. I get one sheet of them, and then I also get the option to play with a piece of this transparency if I choose to do so. So I'm excited about that. But I did get a question, is how do I organize and house these Kit Crunch supplies, because this is a kit that I'm playing with every week for the entire month, and then next month I go to something else. So my papers are just in a pile, and they're just in the top tier of my Rascog, very, very simple. But then the individual supplies, and I will tilt this over for a minute, it's just in a decorative metal bin or a basket, that type of thing. And so then you'll see that I have my dies here, I have my tools here, my sprays and mist that I may absolutely try this month. We'll see. And then also too, anything that's little is individually bagged in other bags, because you can't put this size of an embellishment in this size of a bin or a basket without it getting lost. It just is impossible. So all these little elements are in bags, so then I can just pull the bag and you can see there's my sticker sheets and sticker book and alphas all in one little basket, and this is how quick I can get this kit out, okay? And that's just because I'm playing with it every month. And then also too, I wanted to say, as you're playing with kits and you're building kits and you're doing other things in your space, sometimes you'll come across elements that you think, oh, that will go good with a kit I made last week. Oh, that goes good with a kit I made last month. That's okay. Pull those supplies and then keep them and put them with that kit. When you build a kit, it doesn't have to be all done in one day. You can add to it and take away from it as long as you want to. And I also say, play with a kit for as long as you want. If you build a kit today and you play with it for the next year, who says you can't? Yeah, and who says you can build a kit today and be done with it next week? There's no rules when it comes to that. So I say have fun with your kits. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, with this kit, it's a little bit bigger than my January and February monthly celebrations kit. And guess what? I think I'm absolutely going to keep this kit together, depending on how much paper I use. I think I will keep this together even after the month of March. That's definitely celebrating a little longer than 4 weeks. Love that. Okay, so now let's talk about my photos for a minute, because I got a question about that. These photos are printed in Wallet, and I use an Epson Picture Mate. It is PM225. That model is no longer available, but they have a Picture Mate charm, and so we will be talking more about that in our photo series, which is starting in just a couple days. I know I've been talking about it, but it's going to happen in a couple days. So if there's anything that you would like to see or discuss, or just have questions about photos, or something you want to see, something you need help with, please list below and I'll make a note of that, and hopefully I can cover that in the next few weeks, okay? Because our photo series is going to happen it's coming up very, very soon. Okay, so we'll talk more about printers and photos and sorting and yeah, all that stuff that goes with photos. We're going to tackle it and get it done. Okay, so now what I'm going to do for this layout today is I'm going to be working with the load prompt. And the load prompt for today was about Emerald City. And the story prompt that Alice gave us was that Emerald City lies in the center of the land of Oz. So what is in the center of your world, or what is the center of your world? Okay. And then the technique was to use something emerald green on your page today. And so, of course, I thought this was very, very appropriate because I'm absolutely going to do a layout celebrating me and what is in the center of my world. And that is that little burger right there, my little girl. She is the center of my world. She is my world. Most of you already know that. And one of my subscribers made a lovely comment, and I really want to thank her for that. She said that you can truly see that your daughter is cherished. And that meant a lot to me because that's how I truly feel. I do treasure her greatly. And I think that she treasures me greatly. So it's a very special relationship. So with that, Alice also said the technique of emerald green. And when I built this kit, I had no idea that this prompt was going to even happen. I absolutely have some of this emerald green in my kit, so I may try to incorporate that and do both of those prompts on this page. Okay, so now let's talk about the papers real quick, and then I will come back with a finished layout, because how do you handle papers? I mean, this beautiful piece of paper. How do you handle this right off the bat? Because I've never played with this kit. I just made it last week, so I haven't played with it yet. So how do you handle it when you sit down and you see all these beautiful papers, and then you have this paper here that absolutely just needs to be in a frame? How do you even start thinking about how to use that? And I will tell you, this is something I learned from Shimelle way back in the day. It was one of her classes, and she said that when you have a favorite piece of paper, you just don't know what to do. She said use it first right off the bat. And I have to agree with her on that, because once you cut into that first favorite piece of paper, and that's this right here for me, then everything else just falls into place. You're not worried, oh, should I keep this for later? No, like Shimelle said, cut into it. Now, since this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper, I want to stretch it a little bit, but yet at the same time, I don't want to hoard it. So what am I going to do? I'm simply going to cut this in half, probably a 6 and a 6, or maybe a 7 and a 5. I'll get my trimmer here. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do right off the bat. And I know I'm going to play with it in this layout about me and my little one, and how she's the center of my world. I'm going to use some of my favorites, and this piece of paper is my favorite in this kit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of visualize what 6 inches would look here on this piece of paper. So right here is my 6 inch. And so right here, I'm trying to visualize, I can shut this arm here. Do I want this as one piece, or do maybe I want to slide it up a little bit? Okay, so let's move it up here. Say we'll move it to 7 inches, okay? And then what I cut there, is that how much I would want? Okay, so what I'm considering is that I want to keep some of this for fussy cutting, and then I want to use some of it as a piece of paper. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to figure out which piece of paper do I want to fussy cut from, which will be up in here, and this down here, because I have more options of fussy cutting up here than I do down here. So I may simply just cut it in half, and where it lands, we're going to see. And I say, I agree with Shimelle, that favorite piece of paper when you're getting out just even papers for just one layout, or papers for a kit, cut into that first piece, that favorite piece, right off the bat. Okay, now there's 6. Let me go to 7, because I want some for fussy cutting, and that's 7. And there we go. I might move it, and I'm going to do about a little bit like 6.5, only because of where this flower lands. Okay, so now I cut into that paper before I did anything else. So this will be my fussy cutting, and this will be the piece of paper I keep in and of itself together. And so now I have 2 options. That fear of cutting into that favorite paper is now gone. So I want to thank Shimelle for that tip. She gave that many years ago, and I think she's absolutely right. Cut into that favorite paper first, and then you don't feel stuck right off the bat. And so I'm going to play with one of these. I'm not sure if I'm going to use the one I'm going to keep together or do some fussy cutting. I don't know, but that's how I'm going to start this page. And so I'm thinking I have 6 photos. So I have 6 wallets, and I'm going to be using every one of them. And I will be doing my 6 photos in a grid, probably doing them with a block, maybe some matting, maybe get a band in there. So a grid, a block, and a band. I think that's what I'll do. So come back and I will have my finished monthly celebration page about me and the center of my world. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'm back with my finished page, and it was so fun to play with this pattern paper from the Maggie Holmes, what was that, Willow Lane? Yes, called Sweet Rose. Very, very pretty. So what I did was, after I was done filming that first segment, I just came with my scissors and I just cut out as much as I wanted to play. And that's what I did. I cut out the leaves, fussy cut, and the leaves and the flowers, and just had fun. And then, of course, I used those as the main embellishment on my page. And so then, of course, I will keep the rest of that as embellishments. And then I will keep this additional, I think it was like maybe 5.5 by 12. I'll keep that for another layout coming up. And so I took my wallets, I cut them down, and I put 6 on one big mat, like as a collage, and then I just put this yellow block of paper on top of my wood grain and that emerald green teal. And I think I have this here. See, I just cut that out. And that way I get to use that piece of paper again, because I made some photo corners, and I'm going to show a little mini tutorial how you can make your own photo corners. Yes, absolutely. You don't have to buy them. I will show you a quick little tip. Once in a while I'll make them myself, but you know, a lot of times I will grab just my sheet. And of course you'll see that I have photo corners here on my photo collage that I made. I'll show you how to do it. So simple. And then I use photo corners here just to frame everything. Now with these flowers of this Willow Lane paper that I fussy cut, this is what they look like. Okay, but then what I did is that when I saw those little strokes and those little flower centers, I thought what I would do is take my Nuvo crystal drops, and this is just in the gloss white, and then I absolutely outlined the flowers and the leaves to give me a little bit of dimension and of course texture. Okay, and then I propped up, have it bent up the ends of the leaves just to give it even a little bit more dimension. Okay, and so then all I did was take my Nuvo drops and I followed the lines of the flower, did some dots right there, see, and I would just give it some Nuvo drops, dots, and then with the leaves here, I would just follow the outline of that leaf. So I did a little bit of different, I did some little mini strokes, I did some outlining, I did some dots, I did a little bit of different outlining with my Nuvo crystal drops. Loved how that turned out, and I did the same thing up there. So you can't feel it unless you're in person. You can feel all that. Just as wonderful. It just gave it a little bit more pop. Now this is pretty on its own. You can see this is pretty on its own. But then when I added some Nuvo drops, it just took it to the next level. Love how that turned out. And so I'm really starting to play with my Nuvo drops, because in 2019, we might as well play with what we already bought. Can I get an amen? Yes. And then I just took a 3x4 journaling card. That's another focus product I have going on in 2019. And then my title is simply Us, because that's what this layout is about. And then of course my journaling is going to go here. And I'm going to tuck it underneath a little bit right there, and that's where the journaling's going to go. And so then what I did was I used Alice's prompt from the Load event about what is the center of your world. I could have used that as a title, but I used it as a journaling prompt, and that's what I started. I just put, you know, to my little girl, you're the center of my world since the day you were placed in my arms, ... I don't want to keep reading because I'll probably cry. Yes. Now I wanted to say that since this is a monthly celebration of March, that doesn't mean you have to scrapbook something that happened in March. Okay, these photos are from Mother's Day a couple years ago, but I'm celebrating the relationship of what I have with my little one, and you know how I treasure her and cherish her. So do not let that be a deterrent, because not every month you have something to celebrate, but every month there's someone to celebrate, right? You know what I'm talking about. So don't let that be a hang up when you're doing monthly celebrations, you're scrapbooking the season. It doesn't have to be from photos that was taken that month, okay? It's just about recording the story. And so then along with my flowers, I added some additional yellow flowers to break up all that blue. And then again, I used the load prompt to add in some emerald, because we were talking about the Emerald City today, and I used this emerald green, and then that's what color I did my photo corners in. just a little bit of enamel dots, not very much. The showstopper, of course, is my photo collage and then my flowers. Very, very simple. It doesn't look simple, does it? It's because of the use of color. Absolutely. Love that. And of course, I added a couple little stickers that says friends for a lifetime and treasured. So that absolutely came from one of my subscribers. That was definitely her idea. And so what I did was for my flower centers, and I wanted to bring forth that gold because I had it in that simple little title of us. Remember what I'm always saying, if I can find them. I have a pile and a half. I always say use those little bits and bobs that come in your thicker packs, your alpha packs, and that's exactly what I used for the centers of my flowers, is just those little bits and bobs that was on my thicker sheet, and then it helped me introduce and bring forth that gold that was in my title. Again, very, very simple, not complicated whatsoever, but it was certainly fun. And one thing that I did not here's what I thought. I thought when I put the Nuvo drops on this entire flower and the leaves up here, I thought I was going to have to let it dry overnight. Would you believe it was dry in less than an hour? I was really surprised. So yes, Nuvo, I'm impressed with that, because you know, sometimes when you use sickles, they take a long time to dry, but this Nuvo, you know, using it as outlining and just a little, you know, dress up your embellishments, it didn't take very long. Very tickled with that. Okay, so now let's get into how I made those photo corners and how you can make these photo corners on every layout if you want. Okay, so I'm going to move this just for a minute. And so pretend this is my photo here, and this is the pattern I'm going to use to make my photo corners, because what I did, remember I had showed that I had gutted that emerald piece, okay? And so what I did was I just used that piece I used in the middle, and then that made sure I had that same emerald green for my photo mats. And so what you're going to do is just take a circle punch, okay? Now you can use a 3/4 or an inch. Either one will work fine. It depends on the look you want. For my layout, and for this size photo corner, I used a 3/4. I didn't want the 1 inch because my photos were in the wallet size. But if you're using a 4x6 photo, you maybe could use the 1 inch, and I'm just using these circle punches by EK Success. So I'm going to show you, of course, here's the 1 inch circle. We all know how to do that, okay? And then here's the 3/4 circle, so you can see a little bit of the difference, okay? And so all you simply do to make your own photo corners, and again, it's so easy. And of course, I have to get my quick dry here. Of course, this is what it looks like now. I call it quick dry, but it's called tacky now. And so you're simply, oh, I have this wood veneer. Okay. Oh my. Is that you're going to take these circle pieces and you're going to simply fold them in half. That is how easy it is. Again, it doesn't matter if you use 3/4 or 1 inch. Okay. We basically all have circle punches. Okay, and so then what you're going to do, let me take this off. You're going to take your 1 inch circle, and I'm going to use the 1 inch because it'll show up better for filming, is that you're going to, this is your photo, and I'm going to put right here, this is my 4x6 photo. Okay, so this is the top and this is the bottom, okay, because you're going to have to put your circles on in a certain order. And so what you do is you start with your one circle and you put it up in this left top corner, okay? And we're just going to show how to make some photo corners. And I put a dab of glue on both the front and the back, okay? And we're going to go up here in the top left corner, and we're going to just match that up right there in that top left corner, okay? Now, working still in the top left corner, we're going to take another one of those 1 inch circles, fold it in half, or the 3/4, okay? And then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put glue on the inside of both of those little flaps, okay? Now, I like the tacky glue, quick dry for this, because it dries quick. And then when you do this, you're going to overlap that on top of one you just did, and you're going to go to that corner again. And that is how you make your own photo corners. Yes! Somebody ring the doorbell. That's how you do it. Okay, now over here on the right, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use a 3/4 inch circle, and that way you can see the difference. But again, this isn't what a 4x6 photo looks like. So again, on my collage, these were wallets. And that is a 3/4 inch circle, and that's plenty big enough for my photo corner. So what I would suggest is try out both sides sizes and to see which one you like. Okay, the 1 inch makes a nice impact. That'd be nice for a photo mat on your whole page. But the 3/4 inch circle works good too. So here's a 3/4 inch circle. Again, just fold it in half, and I'm starting up here, and I'm going to go to the outside edge first. And I am just matching that very tip of that circle up there with the top of that photo. Okay, pretend this is a photo. Okay, so you're going to do the edge first, and then you're going to do the top second, and you will have an instant. And again, I do like my Scotch Quick Dry. You're going to have an instant photo corner, and you just meet those up to that point, give it a nice squeeze, get that glue going on there, and there you go. That is instant photo corners. That is the 1 inch. Okay, and this is the 3/4 inch circles. So you can do both and see which one you like. Like I said, this to me sometimes is a little bit big when I'm dealing with wallets, but if you would use the 1 inch circle for these outer mats, I think that would really show up really nice. So again, you could use both circle punches and get 2 different sizes of photo corners out of any paper you own. Great use of scraps. You know I'm going to say that. So that is how you make your own photo corners. Absolutely. Now I think I have to sneeze. Oh, give me a minute. Give me a minute. I don't want to start over. Sorry. Oh my, the things that happen when you turn the camera on. Okay, so that is how you make your own photo corners. You take a 3/4 inch circle or a 1 inch circle. There's the 1, there's the 3/4, fold it in half. You start with your edge piece first. Okay, now let's do that again. Why not? We're going to start with our edge piece first. Okay, over here. And then we're going to take this one, and then we're going to glue this one. Okay, and remember to glue both sides. Okay, and then we'll share one more tip. Okay, so I'm starting with the edge, and I'm taking the tip of that circle to the very end of that photo mat or photo corner, or not photo corner, photo or mat, whichever one you're putting your photo corners on. Okay. You can put this right on a photo. You can put this right on a photo mat. Totally up to you. Okay. And so you see I put the bottom one on last, and then I overlap the one I just did. That's all it is. It's just overlapping 2 circles. And then of course, when you're getting ready to put that on the page, you might want to lift this corner up a little bit and add a little bit of glue, because it does give you just a tiny little bit of bulk. And you'll see on my collage is that I absolutely glued those down. Okay, but isn't that pretty? You'll see some close-ups at the end. Very, very fun to make your own photo corners just using a couple circle punches. I wanted to show that. Had been on my brain, had been on my list, and I thought I gotta show that, I gotta show it, and this is the perfect one to do it, because not only did I use photo corners that I made myself, but then I also used photo corners that were pre-made. So you can mix and match and have fun till your heart desires. Absolutely. So that is what I have for this monthly celebrations, this YouTube hop. I absolutely celebrated using some favorite papers and patterns that I like, and then also to a layout about me and who is in the center of my world, my little one. Yes, so I'm just very thankful that the load prompt prompted me to do this page. And then also too, with the monthly celebrations, whatever you want to celebrate this month, I say do it. Absolutely. Okay, so that's all I have for today. Come back to RTS, because you never know what we're going to learn. Bye.